Hello everyone, I am Öner Döşer. Today I have a very special guest. My colleague and friend Maurice Fernandez is here and we will be talking about astrology and reincarnation. Hello Maurice, welcome.
Thank you so much. Looking
Eh,
forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And the 1st of August and the 2nd, you will be in our school. You will be teaching about astrology and reincarnation. And today we will be speaking a bit about that topic. But first, let me introduce you. Maurice Fernandez is a leading evolutionary astrologer with a worldwide reputation of depth and excellence for his diploma program in astrology, publications, and consulting work. Maurice is the recipient of Orion Award for Outstanding Contribution to Astrology and ISAR Community Service Award. He served as the president of the Organization for Professional Astrology, OPA, for 3 consecutive terms. So you can get his critically acclaimed book from most online booksellers. More about Maurice Fernandez, please visit mauricefernandez.com. So, Maurice,
And
my first question. Yeah,
we have a book in Turkish
yeah, we have a
translated.
book in Turkish which is translated into Turkish, your Neptune book, which is a very popular one. And when you come, please sign it for our students as well. I'm sure many of them want to have it. And so, my first question is to you about reincarnation. Just tell me, what is reincarnation astrology and what are the benefits of learning about it? What is the main purpose of researching past lives?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And it can be sometimes misunderstood and controversial. I mean, is there past lives at all, right? Some
Hmm.
people say there isn't. How can we prove it?
Yeah.
And obviously, this requires quite a bit of research. It's not just theory. What I want to present is also using astrology to prove
Hmm.
that this is happening.
Yeah.
And what we will do is that we will look at the chart of some children who remember their past lives.
Hmm.
There's been research, and we will look at the chart of their current life and their past life. So
Hmm.
this gives us an opportunity to compare the chart of a theory that this was my past life, but with astrology, can we see connections? Can
Hmm.
we understand that there is a story?
Hmm.
So that's one part of it. Now, what is the use of that? Why can't we just work on the present and focus on the future rather than go back in time?
Hmm.
Um, from an evolutionary point of view, the premise is trying to understand why things happen to us.
Hmm.
And I will ask, why were you born on this day at that time?
Hmm.
Why are you a sun in Aquarius? Uh, Is it random? Is it just by chance? Or is there a soul purpose? And if there is a soul purpose, where is it coming from? So we are trying to peel the layers, to go deeper into why are we born in a certain place? Why in this family? What is the meaning of this life? And once we understand this bigger picture, we can better work in the future and
Hmm.
understand how to navigate our lives in the present.
Very good replies, very wise. Thank you very much. Actually, I was about to ask same thing to you, but you just replied. But I will ask, when working on a chart, are you trying to understand the depths a person encountered in their past lives, I would say, and are you trying to identify karmic depths which is nowadays very popular in Turkey. People are talking about all these kind of topics, and that needs to be cleared and creative awareness in the person so that they can correct them. So is that the main purpose, one of the main
Um,
purposes?
yeah, what I will say is that the term karmic is a
Hmm.
little bit misused.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, from an evolutionary point of view, we also see, in a more general term, there are, like we say, soul purposes. You know,
Hmm.
you're here for a reason. We come from the premise that the universe is intentional. It means it's not an accident. You know, we're not here just because it's a rule, you know, it's a lottery,
Hmm.
but there is an intention. So what is the intention? You know, and where is that coming from? One of the reasons, again, we look at past lives is um, that some things we cannot see in our childhoods. Some things we cannot know it from this life. For example, um, some people, you know, may have deep feelings that they come here to create a special destiny, but it has nothing to do with their childhood. That's just an example. But as far as karmic, I would say a more appropriate term is that we have life lessons.
Hmm.
And so we're here to learn something in our evolution.
Hmm.
It's not necessarily to repair. You know, the karmic implication means that there is a consequence, that maybe we did something wrong and that we're need now to make it right.
Yeah.
And this is not always the case. Sometimes people are here not for karmic reasons, but for
Hmm.
evolutionary reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense, the difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very true. And I like your approach to this topic, and I like the term evolutionary or evolution, which you give classes on evolutionary astrology, and you are one of the most well-known presenter in the world about this branch of astrology, which I like very much. That's very true. And my next question is about the primary indicators you look at in an astrology chart regarding reincarnation or evolution, you can say. For example, the elements such as the lunar nodes, retrograde planets, Saturn or the moon, or the fourth, eighth, 12th houses of the chart, or do you also look at some other things?
Yeah. To begin with, I mean, this is part of what we're going to look, and I will say I want to show the audience, whoever is joining this workshop, I want to show them the charts, and they will see what is important
Mhm.
immediately. So the first thing is that there is no single formula.
Mhm.
You know, I cannot tell you only look at the nodes or only look at the 12th house, or because each case brings a different reality. Um, and that depends on what your evolution is about.
Mhm.
For example, if you haven't finished to work on something in this life, you will continue in the next life. And so you will have a very similar chart.
Oh.
You know, maybe you will have the same nodes, maybe you will have the same moon, or, but if you did a lot of work in this life and you finished,
Mhm.
maybe your next life will be a very different chart.
Mhm.
So each case depends on what the individual is doing.
Mhm.
And this is another topic. I don't know if we will have time in this weekend to go through that. But what I'm also studying is death charts,
Wow, very interesting.
analyzing, yeah,
Mm,
and
mm,
analyzing the time that the person leaves their body.
mhm,
Because that is also intentional. It's not just by mistake that you die at a certain time and not another time.
mhm,
And what is the chart telling us about your soul and what you did or didn't do?
mhm.
This is something very powerful because it tells us that everything we do in this life, we see it in the death chart.
Wow, very interesting. I hope you have some time to do to talk about that in your
Part
workshop.
two.
Yeah, part two. Yes, maybe. Yeah, it's a good idea. So, by the way, will you be looking at the charts of the students, attendees in this workshop?
I hope so. You know, once again, this is a workshop that I usually teach over a week.
Hmm.
It's a lot of material.
Hmm.
But I do hope to use some examples and to make it personal.
Hmm.
It's also a topic that is very delicate. You
Hmm.
know, we touch on very sensitive personal information. So students have to be ready for that if they want to volunteer their chart. But I'm open for that.
Great. I'm sure they will want it very much because I know very well that you are a very good consultant on especially evolutionary side of astrology. So I'm sure they will be looking forward to it, and we are also looking forward to come together with you once again. Maurice, you have been here for many times, and students were very happy after your workshop teaching. And of course, we are looking for another book from you, which will be translated into Turkish. I know that you're traveling too much, teaching
Mm.
everywhere, all around the world. So it takes time. Of course, it is not so easy to make a book under this so occupied
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
I wish I had your speed to write books
Thank you. Thank you
because
very much.
you're very good. I want to add um those of you who are interested in joining that maybe it's a good idea to also get the Neptune book in
Mhm.
Turkish
Mhm.
before the workshop if you know to
Yeah.
start reading about it.
Yeah.
But also if you want to understand your personal story, if you know we can touch about it in class,
Mhm.
but I will also offer a special rate
Mhm.
for private consultations for
Mhm.
people who come to the workshop
Okay. Okay.
because then you know we have the time and we have the privacy of a
Yes.
private consultation
Yeah.
that we can do online. You know, we don't have to do it during the time that I'm in Turkey.
Mhm.
But this is offered, you know, if you're interested.
Thank you so much. And then, please tell us something about the retreat in Amorgos. We will be in Amorgos by August. So tell us something about that as well.
Yeah, we are meeting with Öner and fellow astrologers from Greece, some from Europe and the United States on August 12 to 18 on a retreat center in the island of Amorgos. And it's an island that doesn't have an airport, so it's not as busy. It's very beautiful. Right now we are sold out. So the you know the retreat center is fully booked. But some people ask me, and then I ask the retreat if they have another room, and sometimes they do. So if you're really interested, just ask me first and we can see if you can join. But it's going to be incredible because you know, not just the astrology, but the spiritual connection and being in a retreat together.
Yeah. Uh, Maybe we do the same by the next year in Istanbul. Why not? In the island, maybe.
Absolutely. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm still fantasizing about having a big astrology conference in Cappadocia and yeah, and make something that is so deep and so brings the community together.
Yeah, we are organizing something for that. I will let you know very soon. We are working
Mm.
on it. Yeah, and we are, Leon horoscope and Nemrut Mountain, and we will be visiting over there. Actually, I am one of the writers of a book about the Leo horoscope, and some other writers are not astrologers, of course. They are very experienced people about the area, and we have a very special guide, and we are organizing something to that area. Maybe it can be included to Cappadocia as well, of course. Why not? Göbekli Tepe,
Mm.
etc. So maybe we will let people know this autumn about this big organization. Okay,
That looking forward to it. And
look.
I know that the summer, everybody's on vacation
Mm,
and they may not think to come to an astrology workshop, but I think it's a unique opportunity for this deep material.
yeah, and it works. I'm very sure about that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maurice Fernandez. So, see you very soon in Istanbul. So, everyone, thank you very much for watching this video. And who want to attend this workshop, please visit our website. And of course, you can write us from info@astrologyokulu.com, and you can find detailed information in our website. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Maurice, once again.
Thank you so much.